the brother you put in the email, he went clear. You said on the 19th
Hmm.
of November. Those that are striving for clarity, spirituality, striving for guidance from Allah, is a weight in the air. The atmosphere is heavier. And I just known, I mean, I felt this probably for almost a year now. And it's just, it seemed like the closer it gets to the minister actually departing, I just can't even picture how much darker it's about to get.
Mm. Yes, ma'am.
So
I agree.
it has a slight, the most not complaint, what I see the most, even in women, and just talking, like I could just be talking to my sisters or my neighbors. All of these women are in high alert. They are at high alert. The anxiety is off the charts right now.
Hmm.
Because the black woman is very much in tune, whether she's cognizant of it or not. She's very much in tune with the atmosphere and what's going on, especially at a spiritual level. Whew, I guess I had to get that out. Thank you.
Hmm. Praise be to Allah.
And I definitely concur with Sister Angela's comment. In our city, over the past 3 weeks, we've had three of our babies murdered at the hands of a biological parent.
Jesus.
Literally, just they've been beaten to death by
Mm,
their biological parents, and it's hard.
mm.
It's hard.
It just goes to show how, as the environment becomes more aberrated, and whatever we have inside that hasn't been dealt with, these two things are going to start resonating.
Oh, absolutely.
And if we're not in the shock of the hour right now, then I don't know what to call it.
I'm so glad you just mentioned that. May I add on really quick?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
don't want to start a 5% argument that's already going on YouTube. And it's wild how in the midst of all of this, it's not misfortune, it's just bad decisions and aberration. In the midst of all of this aberration, we still have time to fight amongst ourselves. I just mentioned the 5%ers are now, there's a big debate going on. And I may jump in there, but they're trying to, and it's between them and the Nation of Islam, first of all.
Mhm.
But that's not, I wanted to say something to what you just said. I was talking to some sisters, and I'm like, well, how just for those ranging in ranks, those that are registered, exed up Muslims, like you saying, when I speak to some of us, it's not. I don't get shock of the hour. I get the Chris Brown concert and Monica versus Brandy concert and who dropped kick who last week. And it's absolutely terrifying to me because I can't imagine what's going to have to happen to some of us to get that shock. And I honestly, Brother Luke, mine and family, I don't think a lot of us are going to, that has to go to that level of shock, are prepared for it. So it's going to scatter. Either some of us going to end up in mental institutions. I know believers right now that's on psychological medication, and it's just like unheard of.
Mhm.
So I can even see some contemplating suicide because the shock is just that awesome.
Mhm.
It is just that awesome that is for those that have not found a quiet place in their mind. There's nowhere to go in a physical building. That's you could go hide in all the closets you want. You bringing you with you.
Mhm.
So you still, that was my reoccurring dream. I'm hiding from Freddy Krueger, and everywhere I go, he find me because I was hiding from Angela all along.
Mhm.
So I'm just trying to calculate. I told you that's what I do. I calculate all the time. And I'm like one of the scientists. I gotta close the book up because it's beyond my scope. I can't see how some of us are going to make it back. And I know Allah is using a lot of us that are auditors right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's preparing us to be able to talk people out of things. Or I one time I had to talk a sister off a window ledge,
Mm.
literally, by Allah's grace and mercy. So you just brought that out.
Yes, ma'am. It is that time. Thank you, Sister Angela.
Yes, sir. Allah's
Peggy.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Sister Angela. So how did that turn out?
Hmm?
Did you see that on something?
I saw it on Instagram. If you got the stomach for it, I'll put it in the chat because I
No,
can't
you
No,
did
watch
that
the
I don't
thing.
whole
want to see
thing.
that. No, I don't want to see that. I used to be a pediatric nurse when I was in the
Oh,
army,
Allah.
and that was an every Friday payday night um
Mm.
happening. So, but what I want to know is what happened to the baby?
The baby is fine by Allah's grace and mercy, and it was a little girl. She's fine. The
And
mother is, I think she's about to check out because now she's trying to figure out how many times he did it.
mm, okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm. Sister Ania, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
How are we?
Fine, sir. Praise Allah.
Praise be to Allah. How's our big brother doing?
He's well. Praise Allah.
All righty. Who else? Who else? Who else? Sister Sophie, assalamu alaikum. You're on mute if you're trying to speak. If you can't speak, that's all right as well. Sister Heidi, did we give you the greetings already? Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, sir. Assalamu alaikum and happy Savior's Day to everybody.
Happy Savior's Day.
Happy Savior's Day.
Sister, oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say to Sister Peggy because you just kind of loosened two things in my head. The first thing is I can't say the baby is okay because imagine the engrams is gonna come out of that incident,
Mm-hmm.
and then even you just reminded me, well, just made me see. You said that was a every Friday night thing. That's something that you may need to get lifted off of you too.
Yeah, that's a every payday, Friday payday
Mm,
kind of thing that we get, but we would get admissions from uh, the husband in the army, stuff like taking the baby by the foot and throwing them against the wall,
oh Allah.
and or you would get a brother and a sister fighting. The sister, no, the brother put the baby in front of him to protect himself from the woman as she went to scratch him with her long nails, and she scratched the baby from head to. So stuff like that
Mm,
was happening. See, I was in the army. There was an 80, between 84 and 87, 84 and 86.
mm,
I mean, it was always something like that, or all the time. I mean, that was a place. I was at Fort Hood. That was a place where a lot of suicides. Like this brother, he was a doctor. He just polished off his whole family except one that survived. Then he killed himself. A brother.
mm,
And but there's a lot of in Fort Hood, places like that are just full of that.
mm.
Full of that. And that was in the 80s. And I can imagine when Master Farad Muhammad came here, it was probably like that too, probably why he had to hurry up and come here.
Mm. May I say something? I remember when we were stationed in Hawaii, a lot of the soldiers were depressed because they couldn't travel, and a lot of the brothers would just get married to anybody so they could get off post, and then they would suffer even more problems and bring children, have children and those children. But anyway, I just remember when my mother would talk about, because she was working in the what unit were you working in then, or were you in the academy? But anyway, I just a lot of them were depressed and doing things that they typically wouldn't do, like robbing the shop at, and just they were just doing crazy stuff because they were stuck on the island. As much as they refer to it as paradise, when you're in the army and you're a soldier, you spend most majority you out of 365 days of the year, you spend about 200 in the field, and that means practicing going to war. And a lot of times they wouldn't see their family for a year, and they would come back a different person, and they wouldn't even be going to war. They would just be going to training. So now we're having a generation with that, almost with that same mentality. Now we're at war, you know. I'm kind of noticing that. Anyway.
Man, assalamu alaikum, brother. Ain't seen you in a while.
Walaikum salam, brother Luke Mine.
How are you?
I'm fine, praise be to Allah. I'm at work, driving. So I'm just thought I'd listen in. I saw your email and
Yes,
I
sir.
thought it'd be good to listen in and see what's going on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, just to give you a quick rundown. We're gonna watch a clip of the minister, and
Mm-hmm.
what we were able to do a couple of weeks ago is produce a study, like study material based on the minister's video.
Okay.
And so
What's the title of his lecture?
it's not a lecture. You know that little short clip where he's speaking about the Dianetics,
Okay.
the one with Brother Abdul Malik Saeed.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I did was one day I was just sitting there. I said I just want to study this clip word for word
Mm-hmm.
and look at it from the standpoint of the minister speaking in the language of formulae
Mm.
and looking at certain words the minister was using and then trying to go a little bit deeper in what he was saying.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
then as a result of that, I had these questions that I had produced for myself. And then what I did was I said, well, I'll organize this and send it to the believers so that everyone would have the questions and we can really parse the minister's words and get past the surface of what he's telling us and really see if we can, each one of us individually can, because I think each one of us will be able to see something unique which would pertain to our own individual growth and development. Um, Being that, when you take a formula, every time you input something, you're gonna you're gonna get an output. But if
Gonna get output.
each one of us is putting in a different input, each one of
Mm-hmm.
us is gonna get an output that's specific and unique to us individually.
Yes.
Um, but overall, the key of what I'm trying to do, God willing, is in the absence of the minister, we want to keep the minister present so that we can, with the help of Allah, be here when he returns.
Yes, sir.
Um,
Absolutely.
one of the driving motivators of this, and this is just my opinion, this is just my perception, but I look at, and I think I stated this maybe a week or so ago, I look at the departure of the Most High Elijah Muhammad
Uh-huh.
and how he said he was going to return in approximately 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
But when we look at the history, he didn't return, but he did return.
Exactly.
And the thing is, he returned in the person of
Exactly.
the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Mm-hmm.
So now, after he departed, a lot of the believers at that time fell apart because, as the time went on, you're expecting to see the Most High Elijah Muhammad again, but he's not showing. So people, maybe they lost heart, they lost faith, and they kind of went on to different directions.
Mm-hmm.
So my thought process is this, and again, this is just my opinion. I could be wrong. But if you go based on what happened before, the minister's about to depart for approximately 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now, could it be? Now, I'm not saying he's not going to return. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is it possible that just as the Most High Elijah Muhammad came back in the person of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, is it possible that he will return through us
Mm-hmm.
if we remain steadfast and study so that when he does return, he comes back and will see himself?
Yes, sir.
And that's just, I'm looking at it from the standpoint of uh, if that is true, if he is to return in us,
Mm-hmm.
that means when he departs, then our study has to increase
Right.
because we have to take all the teachings that we have been given and internalize it to the point that we are aligning our mind with his mind
Mm-hmm.
so that when he returns, um, the frequencies will be in agreement.
Right. Can I make a quick
Of course.
observation
Yes, sir.
based on what you're saying? It made me think of when you said formulae. It made me think of Boolean algebra
Uh-huh.
and the truth table.
The truth tables.
Yes, and how we have to be able, like you talked about input and output. So we're talking about mathematics, really,
Mm-hmm.
it's because we are studying a mathematical theology that is um, that is manifested in a real way, in a real way, in a modern context. But the fact that it's like a if then statement.
Brother, brother, brother. I was just studying that today. I was just studying that today.
Yes, sir. If
And I,
this if this is done, then then is an adject is a adjective of time. If this happens, then something else would. I heard Brother Jabril say many times that sometimes Allah will allow certain things to happen so that other things will happen.
mhm.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so I kind of see what you're saying, and I'm still trying to gather all my thoughts based on what you just said, because I was prior to 75,
Mhm.
and I saw what happened. I saw what happened to me. I went back to the grave after a while, but then I was reawakened when the minister stood back up. You see, so it's just a very very interesting time, brother. I didn't mean to cut in
No,
like that, but go ahead
no,
and
no, that's
finish
fine.
your
That's
thoughts,
fine,
man.
brother. I'll just share this one point, and maybe this will be the top. This will be the subject of a Zoom meeting in the future. But I
Hmm.
was just studying that today from this
Yeah,
standpoint.
yes, sir.
The Most High Elijah Muhammad says, he says, if you desire to preach or teach that a certain religion is true or right, you should know all religions and their scriptures. That's page 90 of Message to the Black Man.
Hmm.
So now when you look at that, as soon as you see that word if, you know there's an implication there.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And if you don't see the word then, all you got to do is look where the comma is. The
Mm-hmm.
comma is where the then. So if you take that same statement, you can say, if you desire to preach or teach that a certain religion is true or right, then you should know all religions and the scriptures.
Hmm.
So then I said, but now, in the truth tables you're talking about, the if then statement is equivalent, and I don't I want to make sure I explain this because I don't want to confuse anyone. But there's something called the contrapositive.
Hmm.
And the contrapositive is you switch the two premises and then you negate both. So what that means is it would also is equivalent that if you don't know all religions in the scriptures, then you don't desire to preach or teach that a certain religion is true or right. That also is a true statement. So I was what I'm doing right now, brother. It's funny that you say that. I'm going through the works of the Most High Elijah Muhammad and the words of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and where I can find these implications, I'm applying the Boolean algebra to
Mm.
prove that what they're saying is right and
Wow.
exact.
Wow. That makes me feel that it wasn't accidental for me to tune in this just
No,
now,
brother, you
brother.
you you right on point. I sat here for about 2 or 3 hours. I was stuck, brother. I couldn't. I was glued to my desk
Mm,
because
mm,
because
mm.
because my thing is this. And Sister Anna, just give me 1 minute. Just give me one
No, go
second.
ahead.
You
Go
know,
ahead. I'm
the
enjoying it.
reason why this is so important. A couple of weeks ago, we spoke about what's called an inverse operation.
Hmm.
Inverse operation, anytime you do a mathematical equation, you do the inverse to check your math to make sure your math is correct.
Hmm.
Now, I'm a firm believer. I feel like this is going to happen. I believe that when the minister departs, because of the technology of I believe they're going to tamper with the videos like on YouTube and all those platforms. They're going
Hmm.
to tamper with the minister's videos and they're going to make it appear that he's saying and doing things that he never said or done.
Right. Yes, sir.
Now, if we've done our study, what came to my mind not too long ago by Allah's grace is for us to go back and study the minister's words and then do the inverse operation. In other words, if you look at it from the perspective of calculus, when you do
Hmm.
calculus, your inverse is called integrals, right?
Okay.
Okay. So, in other words, we study the minister's words, we should know his words so well that we are able to trace it back to where he got it from Message to the Black Man, Our Savior Has Arrived, Fall of America, Our Supreme Wisdom Lessons. We should be able to do the inverse operation, say the minister said X, Y, and Z. Oh, that's in Message to the Black Man, page 90.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because when for the believers that don't study, when they hear the words of the minister that have been grafted,
Yes.
that have been diluted, mixed, and tampered with.
Right. Right.
Individuals that are not rooted in the minister's words or the teachings, they'll take YouTube as gospel,
Hmm.
Right.
and they'll think that those videos are right and exact because 85% will take things on face value, and unfortunately, we might have some 85% five percenters.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
They'll take the videos on face value, and then based on corrupted video of what the minister has said or what the minister is doing in the video, they will move out now like a Manchurian candidate, thinking that the minister has guided them to do X, Y, and Z, but that video has been corrupted. It's up to those that study to be able to say, "No, nah, brother, that's not what he said. Here's what the minister said. Here's
Hmm.
how you prove
Right.
that he said that," because the minister, number one, is not going to contradict in the Boolean logic. You have the implication, you have what's called the contrapositive, but then you have what's called the converse, and you have what's called the inverse.
Hmm.
The enemy will mix up the words in such a way that an unlearned follower will not be able to discern the logic, and they will get the words twisted and believe the minister has said something that is not true and that goes against what the Most High Elijah Muhammad said, and that will fuel the fire of someone now turning against the minister because someone corrupted through this AI madness that's going on right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I
I
just
let me just I might have to jump off the call.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm at work right now, and
Mhm.
and the person that I'm waiting to come out is we're lining up to pick up some people. So I
Yes,
might
sir.
have to jump off. But man, just this little segment that I got right now, man, this is beautiful, brother. This is beautiful, and inshallah, I'll go on YouTube and try to pick up some of the older videos that you've done.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, my goal is to prove mathematically the minister's words so we can be here when he returns. With
Yes,
the
sir.
help
I'm
of
gonna
the
I'm gonna
light.
have to sign off right now. Thank you so much.
No,
May
you're
Allah
very
bless you
welcome,
and all
brother.
you all with a wonderful evening.
Yes,
Assalamu
sir.
alaikum.
Alaikum salam. All right, Sister Angela.
Yes, sir. I think I'm in tune. Inshallah. I have to go back to 1985, September 17th, and the scroll that came down.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that the minister was imprinted on.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I shared this a lot as far as when the minister was talking about clear, the state of clear, and it was a believers meeting, and we had a webcast, and he said that I am the only one that can clear you. So I chewed on that for a while. And now I think I understand what it means. It's almost like the math that you just used about him becoming the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and we becoming him. Because I don't know if the Dianetic state of clear is going to get us safely through the dark hour. What's going to get us safely through the dark hour is being a reflection of the minister. The minister is a very awesome light in a very dark place. Not that he doesn't have he didn't have his own trials and could be infractions or what he would say is sin. But he's a living example that we can rise above it and become a conduit of the Spirit of Allah. So when you mentioned that, when I've seen a brother, and of course I'm calculating what's going on with us, what's going on with the believers, it seems, especially what you just talked about with the AI. Now the minister put us on superimposing, I think back in 96, 95. He said it's going to be a technology where they can superimpose your a face in a video and it look like you doing something that you was not even there for.
Mm-hmm.
And but I'm glad you on it because Satan has to cast all of his rods now
Mm-hmm.
because the time is up. So I'm sure that's going to be one. And like I said, if we watch Savior's Day 1975, you can watch a whole stadium, basically, a armory, wherever they were at. Believers get beguiled right before your eyes because a new word was being used not and never was used in a way that way with the Most High Elijah Muhammad.
Mm-hmm.
So the departure of the Most High Elijah Muhammad had the believers so thirsty that they just grabbed hold to anything until it was dismantled. Because to say that I pledge allegiance to anyone besides Allah, could you imagine making a comment in front of the Most High Elijah Muhammad? You know what type of correction we about to get, right?
Yeah, exactly.
However, the language was used in 1975 in front of the whole armory of believers during Savior's Day. That kind of started turning the believers off straight path. So,
By what's called makara or by degrees. Go ahead, sister.
okay, yes, sir. So, I'm just putting all of this into my equation because um, one of the last videos, I think I was watching 96. As a matter of fact, yeah, I was listening to 90 Savior's Day 1996. That's when he gave everybody Muhammad on that Monday, the believers meeting. Well,
Mm-hmm.
the people that went to Savior's Day. That next year, he gave the entire nation.
Mm-hmm.
And in that lecture, he used the scripture. I'm gonna go back and get it. Yeah, you ever heard of the Trail of the Octopus? He mentioned that book in that lecture. It was banned in the United States. He said, make sure you get the book. We get the
Trail
book.
of the Octopus.
Trail of the Octopus. and he talked about how we must and use the calculation of the time. Always consider the time in our thinking. That's it.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you, Sister Angela. Now, I want to say this. That statement that I just made about um, us taking on uh, being in sync with the minister, I have to say that that statement was actually based on a question. And I'm trying to find it, trying to find my notes. But it was based on a question that Brother Wahid gave me.
Wow. Praise be to Allah.
And Brother Wahid had made the statement. I can't find my notes, but I can remember off the top of my head, I think. He had asked the question. I got so much paper on my desk, I can't remember where I put it, but he had posed the question. He said, how long did the minister last beyond, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't have my notes, the exact wording, but he said, how long did the minister last as far as doing the work absent his teacher, the Most High Elijah Muhammad? And then the second part of the question was, how long will we last in the absence of the minister? And just that question had me running the wheels in my brain. And it was that question that was actually at the root of the original statement that I just made. So, Brother Wahid, thank you for that conversation we had the other day. So now, out of all of the notes I have, I was able to start studying just one of the ideas that you shared, and now I probably have another 15 more I gotta go back and study because I took a lot of notes from that conversation. But okay. Anyway, anyone else before we get started?
Yeah, I have a question to ask. Sister Angela, that book title that you just gave, Trail of the Octopus. Hold 1 second, please. Um, Opal Brides of the Oregon Trail, Book 10 by Cynthia Wolf. Is that it? Because it says, I'm looking at Oceans of PDF, and it says brief summary of book Opal Brides of the Oregon Trail by Cynthia Wolf. And then somewhere it said, I just saw it, Trail of the Octopus, now I don't see it. Full book name, Opal Brides of the,
Mm-mm.
what keeps happening here? It's like I see it and then it's gone.
Mm-hmm. There was,
Um,
there was
Go
that
ahead.
book, and then there's another book the minister recommended. There's actually two. One is called By Way of Deception. He
Okay.
recommended, and the other one was I think it's called the Diary of an Economic Hitman.
I read that one.
Okay. I think it's the
Um,
diary. I might be wrong, but it's something of an economic hitman. All
I
right.
don't understand. I just saw the book and then it was there.
Sister Angela, who's the author? I find it
Donald,
a Donald
Donald
Goddard.
Goddard. I
Okay.
just put a link in the chat that takes you to
People
Amazon.
ask me all the time, Chris, if you could only take one supplement for the rest of your life, which one would it be? The
Who is
answer
that?
is easy.
Okay. Yeah, I just put it in the chat.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So how many of us have our study material handy?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I have.
Yes, sir.
Make sure we have some dictionaries. Confessions, thank you. I knew it was something. And I always say diary, but it's not diary. Confessions of an
Confessions of
Economic
an Economic Hitman.
Yes. So that book, I totally forgot about that book, sis, until you just mentioned it. I remember the
Meant
minister
to
talking about it.
be.
And there was two movies. There was two movies we were told to watch. One was They Live
Mm-hmm.
with Roddy Piper. This was back in like around 91, 91, 92. And the other movie was called, it's the new version of, oh, what was that movie about the not the Renaissance, about the executioner, the Dark Ages. What was the name? The Inquisition,
The Inquisition.
but the new version of the Inquisition. I remember we had brothers, FOI. We got together on the weekend, and we all went over to. I don't know how many of you ever had a chance to meet Brother Roosevelt, but we went over to Brother Roosevelt's home, and he fixed bean soup for us. I remember we went there. It was just all the brothers. We just had a great time, and we had bean soup, and we watched those two movies together. May Allah be pleased with them. All right, family. Let me put the video up. We will watch the video and then we will go as far into the questions as we can go. Brother Ahmad, assalamu alaikum. It's been a while. We're glad that you're here. Hope you and the family are doing well.
Walaikum salam. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. How's the little man doing?
He's doing wonderful. He's having some food right now across from me. I dropped a brief note in the chat too, so I'm more so listening today and
Okay.
hoping to pick up some theta.
Some theta. Okay. Praise be to Allah. Inception, most definitely. Inception is a great movie. Most definitely. All right. Let's see. Let me go here, 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 and here. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we have seen this before, but let us see it again.
That's right. Okay, they can hear. They'll be able to hear it good through the region. Okay, then run the tape, please. I found something that I know we need that would enable us to express the supreme wisdom that we already have, but it's like having a safe full of riches, but we lost the combination. Yeah. So through Brother L. Ron Hubbard, we can open the wisdom that we have and execute that wisdom in a way that Scientology will be proud of us and we of them, but we are not a people that hide our light under a bushel basket. If we know that we gain something here, we're not the type of people that are ungrateful for what we receive, that allows us to be better than what we are. I believe that Master Farad Muhammad knew that a meeting was going to take place like this. I don't know whether he met Brother L. Ron Hubbard, but I believe there was some contact. Scientists are like that. They meet in small little groups and they talk. And when they share with one another, they grasp little truths. They expand on. Yes. There's something here that belongs to us. And L. Ron Hubbard was a man we were destined to meet at the proper time. So when you mention, washing feet, I sat there with tears in my eyes because the greatest gift that I could give you was to give you that which would make you what you know you already are. You understand? Yeah. And if you don't, think about what I'm saying. The greatest gift that you could receive after the supreme wisdom is the technology that will allow you to manifest. And that technology is here. I discovered it, and I wanted you to see what I saw, hear what I heard, feel what I felt, so that you wouldn't be timid or afraid of knowledge that will help us to be ourselves. And so I invite you. And as I watched you relate to each other tonight, I said every believer in the nation needs what you experienced in this week. Nobody can lead in our nation until and unless they become clear. Are you with me? We have no school of theology. We just study the word and do the best we can, but the time is out for that. Everybody has to be qualified to have a position or post in the Nation of Islam. Master Farrakhan said the Nation of Islam is all wise and does everything right and exact. Mistakes shall not exist in the nation. Meaning they'll be made, but you wipe them out by doing better. So I'm grateful that you came. And now, as I see my time is coming, whatever that may mean to you, if I could leave you with a science and a technology that will open up the wisdom that you have quoted for years. But when you look at accomplishment, wisdom is known of its children. It's not what you say, it's what you can produce. So I hope, as Brother Shane had said, and this is not an end, this is a beginning, I pray, of a long and beautiful relationship. L. Ron Hubbard would be proud at this moment. As I sat listening to you, I said, we need to go back to Chicago and set up a training center where we can bring all those who would want to be a part of this mission into Chicago, like they do at their Mecca in Florida, and teach them and train them and then send them out with qualification to do the job of the resurrection of our people. Man, I gotta go now, but I tell you, I hope that you all have a safe flight tomorrow. In fact, I think you'll be flying without a plane. Can't wait to get home to go to work. And I can't wait until everyone who wants to labor in this cause goes through what you just went through this week. Yeah. I'm just grateful. Oh, may Allah bless you. I see.
All right, family. Let's go ahead and get into the questions on the study material based on the minister's words. Who would like to read question number 1 and to start the process?
What is the definition of the word read?
Yes, ma'am. What is the definition of the word read? Who would like to
I'm looking
respond?
for my notes. 1 second. I had them all together. 1 second. I got so much paper here that I can't even.
You got so many notes you can't figure out.
I got so many notes. I got so much stuff open on my.
What was your question? I'm sorry, brother.
What is the
What is the meaning of the
definition?
word read? And the reason why I said that is this. Because to start the process of actually not just hearing or listening to the minister's words, we
Right.
want to read or study.
To look and comprehend the meaning of written or printed matter by interpreting the characters or symbols of which it is composed. To discover by reading a period or act of reading something, having a specified level of knowledge as a result of reading. But that's not actually saying the definition, but the first one was really the definition.
The reason why that word is so important. How many times have we read something but we didn't comprehend it, or we didn't understand it, or we didn't retain it?
A lot.
Okay. Now the word read in Arabic is what?
Ikra.
Now ikra comes from the root word, I believe it's kara. And not only does it mean read, but it means to study or to investigate. Okay. So many times we read something, but we're not studying it. We're not investigating it. We're not piecing it apart. So what we hope to do is take the minister's words from this short little meeting he had with the believers, and we just want to parse it, just go through it, and see what it is that Allah will bless us to see contained within the minister's words. Okay. Now, one of the questions I want to pose is this. The minister makes the statement. He says, I found something here that I know we need that would enable us to express the supreme wisdom. What is the meaning of the word express, and how could we express the supreme wisdom? Lessons. What is the meaning of the word express? How do we express our lessons?
Do you want it? To convey a thought or feeling in words or by gestures and product.
Okay. Thank you, Sister Sharon. Anyone else? Sister Jordan?
Yes, sir. When I hear the word express, um, if I'm going to express it, it means that I hold it or I have it.
Mm-hmm.
So that means it already exists, and it's the ability to communicate it or demonstrate it that doesn't yet exist.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it makes me think of.
Okay. Thank you, Sister Jordan. Sister Peggy, you look like you had something to say.
Oh, I was just going to read. I mean, this dictionary, I have another number three.
That's fine.
Uh, okay, that was something else. Wait a minute. One said, ooh, squeeze out liquid or air.
Okay.
I mean, it may not be an explanation for what we're reading
Mm-hmm.
here, but that is a meaning.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be, yes, that to express liquid or air.
Mm-hmm.
And another one is, of course, it's very similar to what was stated already, stated very clearly, excluding anything else. Um, yeah.
Okay. That's
No,
fine also. See,
sorry.
oh, go ahead, Sister Jordan.
I just what Sister Peggy's definition was actually exactly what I was thinking of. It had brought to mind an orange, like you expressed orange juice. The juice exists in the orange, but you can't consume it the same way in that form until it's squeezed out of the fruit.
Mm-hmm.
So her mentioning that, she didn't know if the definition was relevant, it was exactly the image
Mm-hmm.
I had in my mind when I was thinking of the word. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it
Okay.
applies.
Mm-hmm. In word clearing, the process, see, in the tech, when you do word clearing, there's a precise, like when you actually have to do it according to the student hat and the technology, you have to do it on the gradient step by step in the way that is explained. Now, if I remember correctly, when you clear a word, obviously you start with the word, you read all the definitions, then you identify the definition that is in the context of of what you're reading. So technically, you're supposed to read all the definitions. That's fine. You read the definition that's in the context of the word, and then you come up with anywhere from 5 to 10 questions or sentences, excuse me, 5 to 10 sentences using that word. Then technically what you're supposed to do is you go to the other definitions that you read and use those in sentences. And then once you've completed that cycle, then you go to the derivation or the root. Is that correct for anyone that's gone through the tech on that? Okay. So Sister Peggy talking about speaking about expressing that way, technically that is applicable because the minister's words are like fruit, correct? And we
Yeah.
Hmm.
want to express all of the nutrients we can get from this fruit. Yes?
And there's another one.
Go ahead.
There's another one. Where is it? It's like a delivery. Okay. Express, like a special delivery service or
Okay.
something special, like you see a bus. It's an express. It goes directly to without stopping. It just goes straight to
Okay.
like an express.
Does that apply to the minister's words?
Yes, sir.
How so, Sister Heidi?
Because he said that once we learn Dianetics, it will quicken our understanding of the supreme wisdom.
Mm,
So that's like expressing it, making it move forward quickly, our understanding. And boy, is he telling the truth about that.
mm-hmm,
You look at the supreme wisdom, not even trying to answer it, you're looking at it as how is this applied to my life?
mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. So go ahead, Sister Sharon. Go ahead. Go ahead.
The synonyms are very interesting too,
Yes,
to
ma'am.
include, to reveal, to declare, to articulate, and manifest,
Let's
to
look at that.
show,
Go ahead. Go ahead. Finish. Finish. Finish.
to voice, to state, to show, to convey, to communicate, to reveal, to declare. Did I say articulate and
Mhm.
manifest?
Mhm. So now, if we were to take just one question, why isn't the devil settled in the best part of the planet Earth? Lost Found Muslim lesson number one, question number one. How would we articulate that? How would we reveal that? How would we express that? What can we squeeze from that? How would understanding that question make us understand the teachings much more quickly? Do we see how this works?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's like every lesson in our Supreme Wisdom lesson is like a fruit that we need to squeeze the juice out of. The minister said the same thing, but he said it like this. In closing the gap, he says to find all the jewels that Allah will show that allow us to find, right?
Yes.
Okay. So is that finding all the jewels? Is that equivalent to squeezing all the juice?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay, saying the same thing, we're just saying it in two different ways, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the minister is guiding us. The tech is a tool. The tech is like the what you use to squeeze the orange, right?
Mm.
Okay. So like the tech is the juicer. The tech is like the juicer, but we don't want what's in the juicer. We want what's in the fruit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the juicer allows us to get the nutrients that are in the fruit. We're using the tech to allow our minds to get into our supreme wisdom lessons, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Are we all flowing with that one?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, where he says to express the supreme wisdom that we already have, but it's like having a safe full of riches, but we lost the combination. I want to pose this question. Could the safe full of riches be the supreme wisdom lessons, or could the safe full of riches be the mind of the believer, or can both of those be correct? And how and when did we lose the combination? Sister Heidi, you look like you're about to jump in there. What happened?
But I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait.
No, no, go ahead. You got the floor.
No, that's okay. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay. What you got, Sister Sharon?
I think they could both be true
Okay.
because if I think about something that you said less than 10 minutes ago, you said um, we're like facets to a diamond. So
Mm-hmm.
all of us are going to see, we're not going to see something different, but we're going to see it, we're going to see what we see, and then we're going to naturally relate it to the part of science or the part of life that resonates most with us, that is truest for us. So in doing that, it actually allows our minds to multiply the nutrients that's in the fruit because it's not just one aspect of it. It has multiple, you know what I mean? Like the truth has multiple aspects to it. And I don't know if any of us can hold all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's possible for one to hold every aspect or vantage point of that truth. So our minds, when they're aligned, our mind is aligned with Allah, but we still bring to the table, we bring something unique to the table. And when it's all put on the table, then collectively we have a buffet of we just have
Mm-hmm.
it's exponential. What is it? It multiplies exponentially what actually is
Mm-hmm.
there for us to feast on after that.
Yes, ma'am.
kind of clumsy way of saying it, but you know what I
No,
mean.
no, it's not clumsy. No, that's fine, Sister Sharon. Thank you. Let me use a demo kit. Let's mock some, as L. Ron Hubbard would say, let's mock something up here. Picture in your mind, let's look at the continent of Africa. Now, every country in Africa, there are some countries in Africa that have certain minerals that other countries don't have, correct?
Right.
But if every country had the ability to mine from their own country the mineral wealth of their own country, and if they're able to control the flow of the mineral wealth in their country, and if every country had something different, what would that do to the economy of that continent? What would it do?
It would just would explode
Why? Why would it explode, Sister Sharon?
because it would then be able to benefit from all there is that's there. I mean, what would it be what else would that country need except people to execute? You have the raw materials. Do you know what I mean?
So what you're saying is they could be independent of everyone else because they have everything within their continent because
Every-
each country has their own mineral wealth and they can execute the trade in between countries and be independent and they wouldn't have to depend on anyone outside the country, right?
Except in exchange. That that's
Except if
that's an extra.
it wanted to exchange for other things. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Now, if each one of us is a unique individual and we apply our mind to the teachings, wouldn't each one of us see the lessons from our own unique perspective? In other words, our own ideas are like independent mineral wealth that is hidden within us, isn't it?
Hmm.
And by coming together and sharing our ideas with one another, isn't that kind of like an intellectual trade and commerce?
Yes, sir.
It is.
Okay.
It is. It is.
Don't we receive some benefit when we hear someone else explain something and we say, damn, I never even looked at it like that.
Yes, sir.
And then each one of
Yes.
us, what we happens, we go up the gradient.
Hmm.
We
Yes, sir.
are, we leave here with a higher tone level as a result of all of us doing our own independent study of the teachings. But now we come together and we bring our intellectual currency to the table.
Hmm.
Each one of us building our own part of the mothership, and now we bring our part to the table and we put our parts together. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is why I believe not only is our study good for us individually, but it's beneficial for us because it allows us to do trade and commerce intellectually with one another. Make sense?
Hmm.
Yes, sir. What you're saying, Brother Lukman, is what the minister wrote in his letter about from 1987 to one of our study guides. I'm trying to remember. I have the letter, but it just basically summarizing that we need to step out of being an intellectual coward and to be courageous, to
Mm-hmm.
use the group as a way of chewing the meat on the material,
Mm-hmm.
right? So this is what we're doing.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Everyone flowing with that?
Oh yes.
Praise be to Allah. So now, can we see, because we already understand that the supreme wisdom can be seen as a safe full of riches, but if the lessons aren't changing, what is changing?
Time.
Well, time is changing, but with regards to the riches, where are the real riches coming from?
Within?
They're coming from within. Because when you study the lessons don't change. but it's the viewpoint of the student that changes. It's like go back to the
Mhm.
beginning, go over it again, and pick up additional data, right? Every time we read the lessons, what happens? We gain more data.
Mhm.
But where is that data? Where is that knowledge and where is that understanding? Where is it actually coming from?
Allah, Allah within.
Thank you. We gotta be specific because there's no mystery God, right? So actually, that is an actual process. In the tech, it's called the repeater technique, right? Where you go over certain information, and even when you go back to the beginning, go over again, pick up whatever additional data, the brain is set up that every time you recount something, more data comes to the surface, right?
Mhm.
Okay. On a level of neuroscience, what's actually happening is every time you put forth the energy, there's certain brain structures in the limbic system. You have the hippocampus. Um, if you go and study the hippocampus, it parallels the concept of the time track. Okay. The hippocampus is connected to the hypothalamus and then something called the fornix. The fornix, when you study that, it seems as though it's equivalent to the file clerk. In other words, you know how we used to stick the cassette tapes in and you had the cassette tape going and then you had the head that would come down and actually read the tape as it was going?
Mhm.
It's kind of like the same way with the fornix and the hippocampus, that the fornix, quote unquote, the file clerk, comes in contact with the hippocampus, that's kind of like the time track. And then the recall of the information that's recorded in each and every one of us is manifested in the recall, which comes through what's called the mammillary bodies. Okay. So, what L. Ron Hubbard was teaching in the 50s, you see a lot of individuals speaking about it now, but and again, this is just my opinion, but what they're doing is they're plagiarizing the work that came out in 1950. Or maybe not, maybe all of them are not plagiarizing. But what some have done is they have taken what was already taught and they have put it in the fine language that they know and then made it appear as though they were the authors of it. But what you see in modern time is really in Dianetics Book One. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay. But these brains, these names that he was using in the 50s, as you study it today, you will see that he's really describing how the limbic system is working inside our brain. So there's a whole science that's actually backing up what L. Ron Hubbard taught in the 50s. However, all of this wisdom dealing with the mind goes back to the ancient teachings of ancient Kemet, our ancestors. We knew this, we knew this technology thousands and thousands of years ago. So everyone is getting it from the original man. The only difference is scientists today are acting as though they're the author of it. But Brother L. Ron Hubbard says that the root of what he teach comes from the Asiatics. At least he has the decency to give credit
Credit.
where
Where credit.
credit belongs. He's not acting as if he's the author of it. He's not acting like Columbus, like he discovered something, like scientists are doing today. He's saying that this comes from 50,000 years of thinking men, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So now let's look at the definition. If we say safe full of riches, could each one of us have our own safe?
I hope so.
Now the question is, what are the riches? What are the riches inside Sister Peggy? What's the riches inside Sister Heidi? What's the riches inside Sister Anya? What's the riches that's inside Sister Denise?
The ideas.
Ideas. Now, let's clear the word riches and then we'll dig a little deeper. So can someone read over the word riches?
uh, Things of value and
Mhm.
just um material wealth,
Okay.
um, money, funds, cash, um, valuable or abundant resources. That's probably a definition we want.
And what else?
Um, synonyms, bounty,
Okay.
jewels, gems, valuables, resources.
Hmm. Okay. Those all work. Anyone else?
And cornucopia.
So in other words, in our lessons, luxury, money, and good homes. Yes.
Right.
So all of these things are already in us. So it's kind of like potential energy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
So that means we have the ability to have luxury, money, and good homes and friendships in all walks of life. Yes. Problem number
We
13 says, sit yourself in heaven at once. This is the greatest desire of your brother and teachers, correct?
mm-hmm.
It doesn't say Minister Farrakhan is going to sit you in heaven. He gives us the tools. He gives us the same tools that he used. But it says, sit yourself in heaven. Now, if we follow the minister's instructions, then we will be there, correct?
Yes.
So the question is, why have we not accessed this safe that's full of riches? Why are we Muslims that have lessons, but we're living from paycheck to paycheck? Why are we saying that we are God and we don't have two nickels to rub together? Or as my mother would say, we don't have a pot to you know what in and we don't have a window to throw it out of. But I'm God. I got today's mathematics.
Because we read and we don't understand.
Sister Heidi's. I mean, it's for real. I'm including myself in that. I'm including myself in that. I'm not broke, but I'm not as wealthy as I know I should be. And I'll use myself as an example, not from an arrogant standpoint, but from a very, very humble standpoint. Right now, I know only because I'm thankful to Allah for this. I know that I have the potential to become a millionaire. I know that I have the potential to produce many volumes of books. And the reason why I know that is because I have started many books, but I have not completed these cycles of action. This is why the tech is so important. Each one of us are potentially a millionaire, but there's things contained within our own self that keeps us from moving forward on the great ideas that Allah has already blessed us to receive.
Yeah. Brother Lukman,
Yes, ma'am, Sister
I have
Sharon.
asked that question of myself so many times, and I know that I don't know the whole answer, but I know that some kind of fear is at the base of it,
Mm-hmm.
almost afraid to have, almost as if the idea of having that much in itself is too frightening to go near it. I mean, it has to be something like that because I'm not so asleep that I don't know I have a gift. I'm not so asleep that I haven't played with my gift. You know what I mean? Worked it, but the fear of business, that business makes you wicked, like that businessmen are wicked people. Like I know that that somewhere is a part of the hiccup for me. I'm speaking for myself. Like, is it possible to be a good businessman and not fall prey to, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I ask myself that question all the time. Like, surely you have what you need. Why can't you do with what
Mm-hmm.
you have? You know what I mean?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Our lesson said like this. Why does the 10% Or why does the devil teach the 85% that a mystery God brings all this? It says to conceal the true God, who is Allah, right? To conceal the true God, who's who? You and I. And keep us worshiping something we know we can't see, invisible. So we have these engrams. We know we're supposed to be great. We have great ideas. We have great thoughts. But when it comes down to manifesting, there's something that short circuits. There's something in there. And that short circuit is either something within ourselves or it's in someone who's near us that we share the idea with, and they will invalidate us or we invalidate ourselves, and then we never manifest the idea that Allah has blessed us. So we say, oh Allah, please give me wealth. Allah says, here's an idea.
Mm.
I try to look at it like this. Allah has given all of us a bank account with $1 million in it. All we got to do is go to work in order to make our withdrawal.
That's so wonderful. Praise be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah. But I, like you, I get into certain things, and I have all these projects I have started and have not completed any of them. And I know for a fact, there's no doubt in my mind, there's no doubt in my mind that Allah has blessed me individually with so many great ideas. I should be, at this age, I should be a millionaire. But I have put my own foot in my own way, as we all have, but it is not our fault. Why are we broke now as grown people? Because we were taught to be broke when we were children, weren't we?
Yes, sir.
Didn't we eat the wrong food when we were little?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
And now we're right now, some of us are afraid to be successful.
Could it
Yes.
be, could it be, could it be that we're not meant to do it by ourselves?
We're
Because
not by
if you
ourselves.
think about the fact, well, if you think about the fact, like we use the analogy that you just used
Mhm.
of countries in Africa, and each country has natural resources. Um, so you may have the idea for it,
Mhm.
but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have the other components that are necessary to bring it to fruition.
Okay. Let me show you what Allah says in the Holy Quran. Um, let's see if I can find it. If I can't find it, I'll just see if I can quote it. Oh, came right to it. So Surah number 2, ayat 148. Now, I'm going to read this ayat and I'm going to give an example. And I think as I give the example, Sister Angela, you pop up in my mind, and I'm gonna try to see if I can use this to use what you have experienced to bear witness to what I'm about to say. You ready, Sister Angela?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, so Allah says in the Holy Quran, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and everyone has a goal to which he turns himself.
Mm-hmm.
So vie with one another in good works. Wherever you are, Allah will bring you all together. Surely Allah is possessor of power over all things. Now, here's how this works. Allah gives us an idea to bring something into fruition.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as we step forward to do the work, Allah will bring in the other parts of the puzzle to assist us in accomplishing this. Now, Sister Angela popped in my head only because I know Sister Angela does work with hair. Sister Angela, when you first started doing hair, you probably didn't have all the money, didn't have all the clients, but once you started, didn't everything fall together in
Oh,
place?
absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
it happened in a way that you didn't plan it. You're like, man, I just this had to be a lot because I didn't know this was going to happen.
I
You bump
couldn't
you,
plan
you
it.
bump into people, and this person happens to know this person, and this
Mm-hmm.
person has to know, and then you'll see that everything you were planning, everything that was a component, if you yourself didn't have that, Allah will bring a person that brings their part of the mother plane to your mothership. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Can I add on really
Of
quick?
course, Sister Angela. That's why I brought you here.
Praise be to Allah. So there's a science called 6 degrees of separation.
Mm-hmm.
And they tried this out. They took a letter, and you only had 6 people to get it to its destination. So the letter is started, let's say, somewhere in Texas. It needed to get to Africa, but they could not use the postal system. Had to be handed hand in hand. And they got that letter there within 6 people. So that law even goes into business
Mm-hmm.
because the best advertisement is word of mouth. So had I couldn't plan it, I could not plan what Allah designed. I even took it to another level in grief, or if we lose something. Like somebody can pass suddenly and you be like, man, I wasn't ready for that to happen. It just, hit me, whatever the case may be. And when you go back and think about it, if you could plan it, could you really see it through?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when no, I couldn't. And I used that idea when my mom passed. So it helped me submit to Allah's planning and not my own. Then I had to even respect the relationship that she had with Allah. Because when sometimes people are ready to go, they're just ready to go, whether we are ready for them to leave or not. So bearing witness to what you're saying, I see that science. And no, Allah's vantage point, I'm talking about, please. We are one little grain of sand.
Mm-hmm.
One little grain of sand, my view is.
Yes, ma'am. So Sister Sharon, let me throw this one last point out, then we'll go to Sister Denise. We know that in our history, the Savior, Master Farad Muhammad, had the idea to produce a mothership, and he had other people putting together different parts of it, and each person didn't know what the other person was doing, and then he had the ability to get all those parts to one location to assemble his idea. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if we are gods, children of the Most High God, who's to say that we don't have that same ability? Who's to say that, Sister Sharon, the idea that you have, when you look at all the components of that idea, there's some part to that idea you say, okay, well, I don't know how to do that part. I don't know how to do that part. But what makes you think you don't have the ability to locate individuals to help bring into fruition your idea? We, each and every one of us, have that ability, but we need the tech to remove the blockages that's keeping us from manifesting the God that is within us individually. That's why the tech is so important. It's a tool. It's like removing malware off of a computer. Our brain is moving slow because we got malware. We got 101 things operating in the back of our mind, distracting us, taking us off in different directions, and that's why we can't focus. And I'm just speaking from my perspective. I know I got all these doggone programs running in the back of my mind. Does that kind of make sense, family?
Yeah.
Sister Denise.
Assalamu alaikum,
Walaikum salam.
family. I wanted to say I'm sorry we had just got in, so I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, don't tell
That was me. And listen, I'm enjoying this. I was saying, did he discuss what he sent us, what the minister said? And as I was listening, I said, when he said, I found something that I know we need, my mind went back to the study guides because we're taught to study the guides. The guide, study the guide, one person. And I felt like he's guiding us into something, just like if you put what he's given us in the past tense, it might say one thing, and then, but when you bring it to the future tense or the present, it may tell you something else. And I'm using it because the young lady said, well, you all eat that Navy bean. And I say, yeah. and is that all? I said, no, you can make bean pies, you can make croquettes with the navy beans, you can make what do they call those things in spaghetti? What is that? The round balls in the spaghetti?
The ravioli? Or
Or
meatball.
Meatballs.
Meatball.
the what?
Meatballs?
What?
The meatballs?
The meatballs, yes. And
Meatballs.
she said, with navy beans? I said, yes. Because when you think about it, you know, it's so much we can do with what we have in our hands. Sometimes we don't know what we're capable of doing because we have, and I wrote the word hindrance. We have so many hindrance in our way, what people have told us. I don't know what it is, but Dianetics takes it out. I'm saying when you're audited, and then they say go back to the beginning, you know, collect whatever it is. But it's to move things out of our way. And that's we've seen that with the weather. The weather moves things out of the way. It may start looking like one thing, but when the weather finished with it, not only a hurricane or tornado, and we looked at it again. I looked at what happened in St. Louis, and I looked at the park, and I said, "Whoa!" You know, the park was a canvas, like I never seen it before. Like it was always hid with all the trees, but which can be a hindrance sometimes to us. But when we remove that, because the minister said we don't hide our light under a bushel basket. I said, whoa. He said, I believe it was some contact with Ronell Hubbard, destined to meet at a proper time. And sometimes we think everything's gonna happen right now, and it may not. It may be waiting on us. It may be waiting on you. The books, the ideas, the creativity. It may be waiting on you and me for us to bring it forth. And they may say, I never seen anything like that, because it has been in the making. And so some people with the minister, they get on board in 1995. They may get on board in 1997, a Million Family March, or whatever time that they get on board. Okay, and the study guide's been around, but we have to study the guide again, because he's guiding us again. What I see, that we're being guided. Yes, sir. Thank you, brother.
Yes, ma'am. And with that, I want to share this one point that's in harmony with what you're saying, Sister Denise. And I'm sharing this from a humble spirit, not arrogant at all. But I started writing back in 2001. Now I have literally hundreds of composition notebooks of things that I've been blessed to write. But when I go back to 2001, I'll never forget this experience I had. I went to one of the bookstores. It might have been Barnes and Noble when they first built the Barnes and Noble here in 2001. And I remember going into the bookstore, and I remember asking the young lady that was there. And I said, look, I'm looking for books. And I described the type of books I was looking for. I'm looking for books that deal with the spiritual aspect of mathematics and the spiritual aspects of science. As Allah is my witness, this is what she said to me. She said, we don't have those books because you haven't written them yet.
Come on, Allah, talk to me, please.
And that always stuck with me. That the books I was looking for were not on the shelves. These books are in a safe full of riches.
They're in your head, yeah.
That I got to get the combination for.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Praise to Allah.
Praise be to Allah. Go ahead, Sister Peggy.
So I think it's when you take the student hat, and I believe it's one of those lectures that L. Ron Hubbard provided. So he was telling the story of how he would had all these ideas that he allowed other people to help him with other resources, but he didn't share anything. He said, because that just takes too long because people, it has to be just you because you know what it is that you want to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can accept money, even accept other resources, but you can't share that idea with them and expect them to help you with that.
Right. Yes,
You have to
ma'am.
do it yourself. And if you don't do it, brother, someone else is.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
yeah.
That's why I was so looking forward to
Hurry up.
retirement because now I can do what I got to do. There's a
Yeah.
clip. I'm gonna try to find this clip. There's a clip where the minister says exactly what it is that you said. He says sometimes you, and I'm paraphrasing. He says you shouldn't share your ideas with people. Because nine
Mhm.
times out of ten, if that person now we're gonna hit it from a tone scale perspective. The average person in this country is what tone?
Two.
Point
Do
five, maybe.
We say 2 point, we'll
do
say two down to about maybe a 1.1, right?
Two.
Okay, so in that area, we can all agree with that, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If the average person is in that tone level, as soon as you share an idea, what's going to be the response?
negative?
Invalidate, invalidation, invalidation. Because when you deal with 2.0 and below, you're dealing with overt hostility, antagonism, and covert hostility. So
Mhm.
you're going to be invalidated to your face, or you're going to be invalidated behind your back. In other words, that's why it's best. There's an old saying, and I remember this again from years ago when we used to come into work. I used to work for a finance company when I got out of college, and every day you turn your computer on, it would have a quote of the day. And I'll never forget this quote. This is going back to 1993. The quote was, "Those who say it can't be done should never interrupt the one that's doing it."
Absolutely.
So sometimes we should not share our ideas with certain individuals because as soon as they invalidate us, what that could do is cause a break, and that will cause a break between us and the idea, and then we will not manifest the idea into reality. Everyone flowing?
Yes, sir.
Praise be to Allah. Let's clear the word combination.
Mm.
Let's clear the word combination. Because if the safe that's full of riches, on one level, we say the safe full of riches is our supreme wisdom lessons, right?
Mm-hmm.
But on another level, we could possibly say that the safe full of riches is each one of us individually.
Oh,
That
that's
means
part of
each
the.
one of us has our own safe. That means each one of us has our own unique combination, don't we?
That's the part of the meaning. Yes, sir.
Okay, so what is the definition of combination?
A sequence of
Adjoining.
numbers.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Sister.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Adjoining or merging of different parts of or qualities in which the component elements are individually distinct.
Hmm.
A
Okay,
sequence of numbers or letters used to open a combination lock.
okay. Anyone else?
That second one was Supreme Wisdom, found number
I,
30.
I, I was thinking Supreme Wisdom Problem Book, a sequence of letters and numbers. So every time, if if we had time, and maybe we'll do this at another time.
Mm-hmm.
If we had time to do this, I'm a firm believer. If when you deal with processing, sometimes what they do is they'll take a question, they'll clear the question first and make sure you understand every word that's in that question, and then they will repeat that question. They'll give you the question, you share your cognition, then they say thank you. They ask the question again. This is something that's also in the TRs for those that have had a chance to cover the TRs. You ask a question. It means you given a communication with an intention. You ask a question. So if I said, why isn't the devil settled on the best part of the planet Earth? As soon as I say this, there's information that starts to roll around in your brain. And now if I ask if I asked individuals to share what was on their mind, then I could say, so for a split second, I want to do this. You don't have to share what's on your mind. I'm going to make a statement. Be aware of what
Thumbs up.
materializes in your thinking. Okay. Why isn't the devil settled on the best part of the planet Earth? Did everyone get some data in their mind when I said that?
I did, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Why isn't the devil settled on the best part of the planet Earth? Did everyone get something that time?
Yes.
Yes,
Did
sir.
you get more than you got the first time?
Up, yes, sir. Add it on.
Okay, thank you. Why isn't the devil settled on the best part of the planet Earth?
Mm-hmm.
Did everyone get something?
Repeated technique.
It's repeated technique, but it's repeated technique based on our lessons.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you received information or you received data, did that data come from the question or did the data come from within you?
The
Within
depth.
you.
I mean,
Oh,
me, I think, wow.
oh,
Okay.
I would
Yeah,
say both too.
I was thinking both. Mm.
Hmm?
I would
oh.
say both.
We can say both.
Mm-hmm.
But now watch this. Based on the words of the Most High Elijah Muhammad, page 9, Message to the Black Man, he says, the first God who created himself is no longer present, correct?
Yes, sir.
He said, but his person exists in his people today, yes?
Absolutely.
Okay. Sister Ava said uh, in that clip where she spoke about ancient Egypt, she
Mm-hmm.
said, you're not 30 or 40 years old. She said, you're 76 trillion years old, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if that's the case, how much information do you have on your time track?
78
Timeless,
trillion,
endless, endless.
78 trillion
Okay.
years.
So that means
It was
Min-
within.
Minister Farrakhan made this statement. Did he not say that the mind of man is infinite?
He did.
Mm-hmm.
So that means you and I have how much information on our time track?
Infinite.
Infinite.
So what you're telling me is we have eons wealth of information already within us.
Just not the combination to get to it.
We don't have the combination to get to it. Wow.
And that's the we that I think that's why we both said we said that it's both. Had the question not been asked, we couldn't have retrieved the data.
Right. And that's why the process works. If anyone can answer this question, please feel free to do
Got
so.
$10 from your
Yeah,
pop.
if you can answer this question, I'll give you. I'll have Sister Angela cash app you $10 out of her purse.
Oh, and also a book. Well, he
Yes, sir.
said, he said, I'll give you a home Quran.
Mm-hmm. To
A
read.
home
Yes.
Quran, right?
Yeah.
Now, does anyone know anything about the history between Master Farah Muhammad and the Most Honored Elijah Muhammad, where the Savior, we know the Savior was teaching them night and day, but is there anything in the history where it says that the Savior was asking him questions?
Besides supreme wisdom,
I'm just saying questions in general.
well,
What,
that's a bearing to witness the book.
okay, so here's what I'm getting at. Here's what I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting at. When you look at the concept of processing,
Mm-hmm.
is it possible? Because remember, this tech comes from us, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did not Alfonso use some type of a process to remove the devils from Baba G or Baby G?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Is it possible that Master Farah Muhammad applied a process to do the same for the Most High Elijah Muhammad?
Absolutely.
Is it possible that the Most High Elijah Muhammad applied a process to clear the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So all I'm saying is,
Well, wait. Don't go too far from that.
okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Sister Peggy. 1 second. It's when the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to the minister, I gave you what I gave all of the ministers. That's interesting because I immediately thought about Malcolm X and how it hit different
Mm-hmm.
with different minds. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's deep. Okay, that's it.
All praise due to Allah. So now, what I'm saying is, is it possible that there was a time, and if you have this data, please share it, because I don't know the answer to this question, but is it possible that there was a time when Master Muhammad asked the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad those questions, but at that time he could not answer them?
Very near correct.
No, I mean, he couldn't answer them at all. Like,
Oh,
sometimes you take a pretest, it's like when he said, read this Holy Quran, I can't read
Yes,
in
that's
Arabic.
yes,
exactly where I went when you
Okay,
just said
so
that.
okay, you can't read in Arabic. So that was like, that's like the baseline. Sister Peggy, when a patient comes in, you take a baseline set of vitals so you have something to compare to down the road. You say, well, you came in and your pulse was, 70, your blood pressure was 130 on 90, and you were sinus rhythm. You're a little tachycardic, but after we applied the medications, your blood pressure dropped to this. Now you had a sinus rhythm because you had a baseline, right? So what I'm
yes, sir.
saying is it possible that the same thing happened where he was asked questions he didn't know? Because there was times when the Most High Elijah Muhammad asked Minister Farrakhan questions, and Minister Farrakhan say, "I don't know, dear Holy Apostle." Correct.
Yes.
Right.
And so the point I'm trying to make is it possible that if we apply our minds to these same lessons, Lost Found Muslim lesson number one, Lost Found Muslim lesson number two, English lesson number C1, problem book, the theology of time, the time of what must be done. Is it possible that the more we do repeater technique, we go back to the beginning, we go over it again, we're going to pick up additional data. The more data we pick up, which direction is our mind flowing?
Mm.
We are aligning our mind with the mind of the minister. And if we
Right.
align our mind with the mind of the minister, in his absence, isn't it possible that we might still be able to remain in contact with him?
Absolutely.
Because we're striving to get on the frequency that he's on, correct? We want to get our radio station aligned with his radio station so we can maintain communication in his absence, right?
That's right.
And what
That's
I'm
right.
saying is that the tech of Dianetics allows us to get rid of all the stuff here so that we can now go into the lessons and not just recite the lessons, but do what? The minister said what? To begin to
Know
express
them
the,
by heart.
Express them.
Yes.
Express them.
express the lessons.
Yeah.
Brother LeGrand,
Go ahead.
remember when you asked us a question and we went on a journey about what happened when the messenger left with people maybe on YouTube, some of the followers of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, things like that. Remember we did that? Do you recall that? That
Vaguely,
lesson?
vaguely.
Vaguely, yeah, because a lot of believers, they had a rough time when
Hmm.
the messenger left. And so I was thinking about all of his books that he that was out then, Message to the Black Man, Our Savior Has Arrived, Fall of America, all of that.
Hmm.
Because that's a lot when you parsing those words.
Hmm.
Because as is, I don't know who told me this, but it's like as you parse the words, then what the meaning of them becomes different.
Hmm.
you see something different. And sometimes we got jewels right in our hand and don't even know it.
Mm-hmm.
And a little lessons of put it in the past tense, then put it in the future tense. Now let's see how it sounds. Now what's going on with what we taught? So when I dealt with the processing class, I asked the question, why did you come? I mean, walk through that door. I'm not going to say you had to be black and brave, but why did you walk through that door?
Mm-hmm.
Because that is what will keep you and keep you studying on why you came and what are you learning now? Because maybe you've been use an empty vessel, but now because I didn't do all this study when I was in college.
Mm-hmm.
But when I came to the nation, it was like one book after another book after another book. And it was endless. And I knew it was more to God, but it was endless. I said, wow, what if and the minister should know because he was a part of that group with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But what is it going to take for us to keep going? My husband said, the minister said, can you keep going?
Mm-hmm.
Can you just keep going? And what is it that will help us to keep going?
Mm-hmm.
Some people like new things, Some people like old things. Some people like things as they come along, like computers, AI, and things like that. But what would keep us going?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the question that I had. What was it that they had that could keep them going? And I was listening to what different people were saying about after the messenger left, this happened, that happened. But what did you do?
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do? And those are things that have been on my mind because the minister said we're students of life.
Mm-hmm.
Like every day, every second, we're learning things. We're learning about things. We're introduced to things we don't know. And the fear leaves us. The blockage leaves us. And we're able to flow with it. And that's what I'm striving, I ain't say I'm not there, but to flow so it can flow through us,
Mm-hmm.
And we're not worried about who gonna say what, who gonna, if it's Allah's will, within myself, because nobody knows you like you know you.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing we learn is the knowledge of self. And they say the knowledge of self is the knowledge of God.
Mm-hmm.
So who are we? For real. Who are we, Brother Lukeman? That's all.
Yes, ma'am.
Salam.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you, Sister Denise. Sister Peggy. You're on mute.
I remember my son asked me for something, and then I said, I really don't have the time. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, Mama, how could you not have the time? He said, you've been around here 78 trillion years. We invented time, and now you're telling me that you don't have the time? So now I don't say that anymore. I don't have time. He said,
Mm-hmm.
well, Mom, you already made time. You
Mm-hmm.
made time 78 trillion years ago.
Mm-hmm.
How can you not have time if you made the time?
I ran out.
Exactly. Exactly.
He was just, yeah. So it's about applying what you learned. So now I don't say I don't have the time. I already have time. I have time. You just
Mm-hmm.
have to
Move it along.
navigate through what you have.
Exactly. Yes, ma'am. Praise be to Allah. We're going to handle two words real quick and then we're going to wrap it up. I want us to see if we can look at the definitions for the word combination, um, and see if we can apply it to self. And then look at the next question. How did we lose it? So if we all agree, and I just want us to just, as the oracle from the Matrix would say, this right here is going to cook your noodle. Think about this part. If you look at our lessons, and it says problem number 4, I believe is where it says it at. It says 1/100th of a cubic inch contains 200 million atoms, correct? Y'all with me? Crickets. I hear crickets now. Y'all with me?
Yes, sir. I'm
Okay.
here.
Yes, sir.
It's in our problem book. It says
Yeah.
1/100th of
Okay.
a cubic inch contains 200 million atoms. Now, 200 million atoms is a lot of atoms, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Too
I
many
want us to just
components.
consider. So, what we're doing now is we're thinking outside the circumference of our activity right now, because what we're about to consider, none of us have probably thought about this ever in our life before. 1/100th of a cubic inch contains 200 million atoms. Now, one day I'm going to sit and try to figure this out. Now, in modern time, scientists have figured out a way of recording data on individual atoms. Have we ever heard that before?
Yes.
Okay.
No, DNA. I heard the one about the DNA
Okay, but if it's recorded on DNA, it has to be recorded on
on atoms.
the atoms that make up the DNA.
Yeah.
Okay, now, if that is true, and then if you do the math, and there's a way you can figure this out, and I'm sure there's some scientists that figure this out, how many atoms would it take to record 1 year's worth of history? You can do that. You can probably throw that through Chat GPT. Matter of fact, I know you can throw it through Chat GPT because I've tried it. Now, with that being said and done, if a certain number of atoms can be used to record 1 year of history, and 1/100th of a cubic inch contains 200 million atoms, that means that's 1/100th of a cubic inch. That means 1 cubic inch of atoms would contain, I think it'd be 20 billion atoms. You just move it over 2 decimal places. Now, when you look at this, the size of the hippocampus and the fornix and the limbic system, if you could break that down to neurons and atoms and protons and neutrons and electrons, the question becomes, if you can store information in this area, how many years of history do you already have recorded in you right now as an individual? It's just something to think about. Okay. How many years of history do we have access to that if we just use the tech, remove all the painful engrams, remove all the stuff that's blocking us from accessing our books, our al kitab contained within us, okay? All the recorded history that we have within us on a genetic level, not even talking about the DNA we have in our body. I think one estimate is we have 37 million strands of DNA or something. There's 37, there's something but it's a large enough number where if you break it down to recording information on atoms, it comes down to each one of us has thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of potentially years of history. If we could access those books, those archives, that cosmological consciousness, those Akashic records that are contained in us, how intelligent would that make us?
Oh,
It's something to think about, right? And then it helps us to understand why the devil is giving us grafted food, a grafted education, and medications and prescriptions and high fructose corn syrup and Pepsi Cola, because all of that is disrupting our ability to access our ancient scrolls. Does it make sense?
of course. Mhm.
So then, go ahead, Sister Peggy.
Doesn't he ask us a question like that about hair?
Such as,
Just what you said. There's a millions. He says, how much, many, I have to ask, how many square inches or how, it was very
cubic foot.
similar to the one that you said about Adam, but it was hairs.
Oh, it's
Okay.
The
uh,
sheep.
yeah, the sheep a
Oh, was
sheep
the sheep?
contains yeah, actually, yeah. So it was a sheep contains 14 square feet. One, I think it's 1/10 of a cubic inch contains 10,000 hairs.
Yeah.
But here's what you gotta look at. He says that a sheep contains
Mm-hmm. He said
14
it contained.
square feet. He didn't say it was covered by
Right.
14 square feet. He says contains. Now, there's certain things in the problem book I have not figured out yet, but there's certain words that make you say, why did he use that word?
Contained.
Because if you're talking about contained, you're talking about volume. You're not talking about surface area.
Right.
So it's just something that's like, okay, there's something else that's there. I just haven't figured it out yet, but there's
Mm-hmm.
something else that's there. Now, when he's talking about a sheep contains 14 square feet, is he talking about a real sheep or is he talking about is the sheep a metaphor?
Could be.
Okay. Now, here's the way I looked at it one time. And I'm not by any means saying this is the correct way. I'm just saying that I'm I'm trying to spin this thing. I'm like Yaku playing with two pieces of steel. I'm trying to look at this and say, what does it mean? The word contain can also mean control. A sheep could be a small, humble person. Now, if I say 14 square feet, the word square also means honest and righteous. Upright on the square, right? Y'all with me?
Yes.
Now, if I say 14 square feet, how many righteous people would that represent?
14.
If I got 14,
Seven,
it would be 7 people, right?
2 feet each.
Because each person has 2 feet, right?
Oh,
So
that's
Go ahead, Muhammad.
does it mean literally a sheep contains 14 square feet, or does it mean a humble person has control over 7 individuals? Because
That's
now we
one of
look at
those good both ands, perhaps.
it's because in mathematics you have inclusive or and you have exclusive or. So remember, when we're digging into the problem book, we got to find the jewels that Allah shows us. I've always looked at a sheep contains 14 square feet, meaning you have a humble individual, but he has control over 7 individuals. And I thought immediately of the Most High Elijah Muhammad and the 7 angels. That's just me. That's just how I looked at it because I'm trying to figure out this problem book. But understand that as we dig into the problem book, what's happening? We're reawakening our limbic system. Osiris was cut into 14 parts. It was Isis that had to remember them, put the 14 parts back together again, right? That's where you have
yes.
Osiris and you have Isis, or Osar and Oset. He was cut into 14 parts by his brother Set. Could that be a metaphor of the reactive mind breaking down the analytical mind? And now you have to have someone that comes to remember
Amber.
them or put them back together again.
Oh, that's great. That's wonderful.
And it just so happens that when you deal with the limbic system, there's 14 major parts. And it just so happens when you do Dianetic processing, each of these processes is affecting different aspects of the limbic system that allows us to remember our time track.
Brother, that's just amazing. I love that.
Offset was a woman. It was a woman that had to put him back together again, right?
That's right.
Is it connected to the fact that Lost Found Muslim lesson number one, which we're told lesson number one lays the base of our work today and gives the student a clear knowledge of himself? How many lessons are in lesson number one?
14.
There's 14. What's the
Cool.
14th question deal with?
The MGT.
Why is
Yes,
75% of the
sir.
work done with the woman? There's something about the woman that's going to
Woman.
put everything back together again.
Yes.
So as we go through our lessons, each one of us is putting together our own part of the ship. And when we come together, what are we doing? This is intellectual commerce.
That's right.
Go ahead, Sister Sharon. I see you got you want to
It's
say
just
something.
making me think that the awesomeness of Master Fard Muhammad that he delivered questions that seem so whatever on the surface, but the design of them, what the design of those questions was meant to to chemically do to us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad you said that. Because
Yes,
now
Sister Sharon.
I'm glad you said that because now I'm gonna add a little frosting to that cake. When you anyone here that's ever done processing, now I'm talking about objective processing. Has anyone done objective processing?
I don't know what objective
Okay.
process.
So subjective processing is when you audit someone, you take them back on the time track. You want to connect with the engram. You want to take them back to that time period and get them to release the charge or cry. That's called subjective processing. You're reconnecting the person internally. Objective processing is when you tell a person, look at that wall, look at that
Oh,
table,
okay.
look at the door. Now, when you first do that and you see it, and I'm gonna tell you, this is based on, and I'm not afraid to say it. When I first saw this, I said, this is some BS. What in the hell can you do for me by telling me to look at that wall? Thank you. Look at that wall. Thank you. Look at that wall. Thank you. And then you run these processes over and over and over again. But guess what? There's something that happens when you keep doing these processes. You start to have what's called cognitions. Information starts to bubble up like the well of Zemzem from within and comes out, and you begin to see, hear, and experience things that you never heard based on these basic little questions that seem like they're so insignificant and irrelevant. Things actually start to happen. Now, if L. Ron Hubbard could produce questions to do that, what would be the more significance of the questions asked by the supreme being of the universe?
Exactly.
And I'm telling you, here's your homework assignment. Here's your homework assignment. You can go as far as you want, but the assignment is just do lost found Muslim lesson number one, question number one. Why isn't the devil settled on the best part of the planet Earth? And just say that to yourself. Write down the cognition. Thank you. Repeat the question to yourself, read it, or whatever you want to do. Wait for the cognition. Write down what comes to mind. If you decide to go on to the next part, Why isn't the devil settled on the best part of the planet Earth? And then go on to the next part. Because the earth belongs to the original black man, and knowing that the devil was wicked and there would not be any peace among them, he put him out in the worst part of the earth and kept the best part reserved for himself ever since he made it. And then just sit there and be aware of what thoughts come to your mind. Write down those cognitions. Thank you. And keep doing it. And just do question number one. I will guarantee you, if you sit and do that for 10 minutes, your mind is going to start to expand. Why? Because this is something that I do when I'm here, and especially now for the time period I'm here, it's just me, to myself for a little bit. These are the things I do with the messenger's words, with the things Minister Farrakhan has said. I'll take a question from the study guide and just repeat that question. Write down the cognition. I'll repeat the question. Write down the cognition. I have notebooks full of cognitions just based off the questions of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad or questions by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I say this with humility, but we make the mistake of we go through the study guide, we look at the question, we get an answer, and we try to go through and complete the study guide to say we completed it, but we have not chewed on the question. And I'm telling you, family, the more we chew on the questions of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, don't just write down the first answer that comes to your mind. But as soon as you write down that answer, let that pen go as far as it can go. And then when the pen stops, go back and ask that question again. And you're going to see it's like auditing. Go back to the beginning, go over it again, and what's going to happen? You're going to pick up additional data that you're contacting by reading the questions of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. By the time you take 10 minutes just on the question alone, you might have 2 or 3 pages of information, and it's going to blow your mind. We're playing, I'm not saying we here, I'm generally speaking. We are playing our study guide cheap. We're playing the study guides cheap. Go ahead, Sister Sharon.
Mr. Farrakhan, I remember hearing something I was listening,
Don't. How do I do it?
something I was listening to Minister Farrakhan speaking recently, and he was saying the same thing about the Quran. And I realized that, like, all this time, I was reading it all wrong. He said, if you read it and you don't, if you take a small chunk of it and you read it, he said, ruminate on it. I don't think that was his word, but that's what I understood. Like, you need to like think on what you read. It's not like you can't consume it by just reading it. And the same thing is probably true for everything. So we're learning the basis of it here, but it's probably true for everything. Like the information needs a chance to make its way inside of you. It
Mhm.
needs to rolling off of, rolling off while I read it, and I can repeat what I read, but the meaning of it is just hasn't even begun to, the worth of it hasn't even begun to sink in. So you're saying that about the lessons, and it just reminded me that he said that about Quran,
And,
how
and I'm,
much
I'm
of
and
it
I'm even
needs.
saying that about our study guides. Just now, you said a key word, ruminate. Can someone look that word up real quick? Because there's a jewel in there. There's real. Go ahead, Sister Peggy. You're mute.
Cows ruminate.
Okay,
When they chew, and then I think they swallow it and it comes back up and they chew again.
okay. But now let's take
That's
that process a little bit further.
Hmm.
What is it about cows and their digestive system that makes them different than us?
They
they
have
have two
several.
stomachs,
Stomach.
They have
two
more than one
stomachs.
stomach.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
So ruminate, who wants
Hmm.
to read the definition?
To
But-
think deeply about something,
Uh-huh.
chew the card. It actually says chew the
Chew the
card.
cud. Okay, what else does it say?
It says use over time for use over time for ruminate. I don't know. It doesn't have very many definitions here.
Okay. Do we have a root word?
Contemplate, think about, consider,
Mhm.
give thought to. Those are some of the dwell on, and yeah, meditate on,
Mhm.
muse on, ponder on, mull
Mhm.
over, deliberate about,
Good to say.
Cogitate.
cogitate
Cogitate.
about,
Mhm.
give consideration to, brood over, agonize over, worry about, puzzle over, turn over in one's mind, and pour on.
Do we have a derivation?
Yes, may I say?
Yes, ma'am, Sister Heidi.
It says that study, think, and weigh more about ponder. And you have ruminate and then rumination. Ruminant is the adjective, chewing the cud. And in this version of the dictionary, ruminate, it has muse upon. I found that interesting.
The Latin is the word ruminary.
Yes.
Which means what?
Ruminary is the Latin.
To chew the cud.
over.
To chew the cud.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Are we saying M-U? Are we saying M-N-N-U? Is there a I-N at the beginning of that word?
I'll put it in the chat. It's R-U-M.
It's R-U-M. Ruminate.
Oh, ruminate. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
So, thank you, Sister Heidi. So now, it is time, because it's 8:30. I just saw what time it was. Can we see the minister's words from a different perspective now? Now, this is what I strive to do. Whenever I go through the time of what must be done, whenever I read through, like if I go through a lecture of the minister, what I try to do is this is what I do. I try to actually produce a study guide for myself. I try to put it in the same format that the minister has put his study guides in. I take the minister's words and produce a study guide because that's how I strive to reinforce the information in my mind so I can kind of get it to stick. So just based on the minister's words dealing with the tech, would you say that we were able to parse some real good information from his words?
Yes, sir.
Does it make us look at the tech a little bit different?
It does.
Okay. Did we get some case gain? Did we rise up on the tone scale? Did we get a little higher up than we were when we came in the room? Okay.
Yeah.
So family, we ended up on question number, well, we answered kind of question number 7. So continue to answer these questions, clear the words. We're going to pick up on what is the meaning of the word open. So now next session, Allah willing, we want to see what does it mean to open up the wisdom. But we also want to see what does it mean for each one of us to be opened, that we can gain access to the wealth of wisdom that's contained within us. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
And we'll pick up from there. So any final statements, corrections, cognitions, or thoughts before we close it out?
As you were saying, pick up, I was thinking in your thought before that, in terms of opening ourselves, we're going to pick our rusty locks together.
Yes, we want to put some oil on these rusty locks so we can get some of these riches. Thank you, Brother Ahmad.
Thank you, beloved. Thank you, everyone. This has
Praise
been
be to Allah.
exactly what I wanted and needed.
Praise be to Allah. All right.
Well, Brother Lukman,
Yes, ma'am.
just one thing.
Mm-hmm.
What is our after we what was the accommodation to us?
Well, that's what we're
Opening
going to
night.
have to address next class because
That's what we got to bring back. That's what we have to bring back to class, you say?
each one of us has a combination. In other words, it's like we have to find out a way of locating your purpose. Now, if you want some
Okay.
help along those lines, pull up the video of the minister called The Man in the Mission. That's my go-to. That's The Man in the Mission is one of those life-changing videos I remember watching back in the early 90s. And that had a real big impact on me, The Man in the Mission. He says, when you find your purpose, it's like love at first sight. And he says, you will do things other people will say, how is it that you do that? But to the individual, it is as natural as breathing. So to the individual that's doing it, it's like you just do it. Why? It's what you're born to do. It's the reason why Allah put the individual on the planet. Yaqub was born with a determined idea, but it wasn't a self-determined idea. Our lessons say he was born with a determined idea. Well, who determined it? That means that thought was put into the mind of Yaqub independent of Yaqub. So someone put the idea in the Yaqub's mind, and it was a plane with the two pieces of steel that woke up that idea. And then he said, oh, wait a minute. While playing with two pieces of steel, he decided that what he was going to do was to make a people that was going to rule his own people, right?
Mm,
Okay. Playing in Arabic means to learn with enthusiasm. So what the assignment I get, the assignment that we all should work on is what is our purpose? What is it that we can do that we do it? The minister's words are we do it effortlessly. And perhaps that will tie into the definition of the word combination, that there's a combination of things we have to do or learn that will unlock the safe of riches. The first thing we got to do is get rid of the rust. That's the Dianetics. The Dianetics gets the rust off the lock because you can have the combination, but if you have a rusty lock, the combination still ain't gonna work, right?
yeah.
Okay. So the first thing is how do you deal with the rust? You got to apply a little oil. Then the combination will work. There's a cycle of action. Oil, combination, open lock. Dianetics helps us get rid of the rust. And the lessons, we could say possibly, gives us the combination. And then we can access the safe full of riches, which could be our own individual self. So I guess we can end it on that note. Sister Heidi, you will have the last word.
I just wanted to say I had a cognition when you
Yes, ma'am.
said removing the oil. You got to oil it a bit.
Mhm.
I just thought about the Tin Man. You know, he was scared, and he didn't have a heart, and he needed some help. He needed a guide. But in order for him to talk, he needed that oil, and then he got the notion, and I'm talking about Wizard of Oz.
Mhm.
Um, he got the notion to fight the fear, right? No, that I'm sorry. He wanted a heart, but nonetheless, his heart. In his process, he had to oil the rusty locks in order for him to go out and be to discover who he was in order to get his heart, if that makes sense. I just had that as you were saying oil. I just saw the movement of the movie, that scene
Mm,
in the movie where Dorothy starts putting stuff on him. I was like,
mm,
that's us.
And,
yeah.
and I don't know why, as you're speaking, I'm thinking about the lion, the tin man, and the scarecrow, and I'm thinking about Jabez, Salem, and Ariel.
Huh.
That's interesting.
I'm wondering one last thing, and I don't really know if it fits with what we're talking about, but ever since you started talking about the rusty locks and why can't we access the greater part of who we are and implement it, I wonder if it has anything to do with the fact that one part of us is a disbeliever. And how can you go and execute go to work and execute on something if there's a part of you that doesn't believe it has the power to do?
Well, maybe that's why we're on study guide 17 right now, Sister Sharon.
Nice.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Sister Sharon. Hypocrisy and conspiracy. Isn't that what study guide we're on right now?
Yeah.
Now, I'll make this last statement. Again, in that study guide, and this is going to be very brief. In that study guide, one of the things you have to study is the book of Esther, correct?
Yeah.
Now, when you go through the book of Esther, keep this thought in your mind. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that scriptures are dramas that have characters, and these stories, what Allah has done, is taking the processes that are taking place within us and giving them to us in the form of a scripture. In other words, what we read in the Bible or what we read in the scripture is a metaphor or an allegory of events that are taking place within ourselves, right?
Right.
Now, here's another assignment you could probably take on as you're going through study guide number 17, I believe it is. Read through the book of Esther and try to see if you can look the characters that are in the book of Esther and see if they line up with different aspects of the mind.
Of the mind.
The mind. In other words, look at the names of the people in the book of Esther and do a little research and see if those names actually mean something with respect to the self. So maybe the book of Esther is also the book of Sister Sharon. It could be the book of Sister Peggy. It could be the book of Sister Heidi.
Union, Carl Jung kind of stuff too.
Yeah, that's Carl Jung kind of stuff, right? So we'll end it on that note. I pray Allah we got something from this. And I look forward to our next meeting. And we will just keep plugging away at these study questions. And I will continue to do whatever it is that Allah allows me to do with regards to producing the study guides that connect our supreme wisdom lessons to the tech, the science of the mind, the Dianetics, so we can continue to marry the supreme wisdom with the supreme technology. I will be posting this to the YouTube channel. So this one will be up, inshallah, before I go to bed tonight so that you can go back through it, take any notes. If you see any errors or mistakes, let me know so I can make the corrections. And with that being said and done, let us go ahead and close out in prayer. Attention prayer. I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed Satan. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. All praise is due to Allah, Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful. Master the day of judgment in which we now live. Thee alone do we serve, thine aid do we seek. Please, Allah, guide us on the straight path, the path upon whom thou hast bestowed favors, not the path upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor of those who go astray to hear thy teaching. Ameen.
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 Assalamu alaikum, family. May Allah continue to bless us.
Assalamu
Alaikum salam.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, Sister Sharon.